Hey dear learners, welcome back to e-learning platform of GS College of Commerce, Karnataka. I'm Assistant Professor Rajeshwari Sharma and this lecture is for the BCom 6th semester for the subject Advanced Statistics. Under this subject, we are dealing with our third unit, which is basically associated with index number. Under this, we have seen the different types of index number, basically categorized into two types, weighted index number and unweighted index number. Under unweighted index number, we have dealt with two methods, that is simple aggregator and simple average of price relatives. After that, under the weighted index number as well, we have dealt with two methods, weighted aggregator and weighted average of price relative. And under the weighted aggregator method, we have seen the different approaches which can be used to calculate the index numbers, like Lespier's method, Parshall's method, Fisher's ideal index number, Marshall-Edgeworth method, and Dobish and Pauli's method. So these were the different methods by using which we can compute the index number. Today we are going to talk about the consistencies of index number. See what happens when we calculate index number by using different approaches, by using different methods, right? So we get the different value, we get the different answers. Now, how can we how can we analyze which method is more appropriate, which index number is more appropriate, which index number should be used as a base to formulate different kinds of policy? How we can determine that? How we can decide that? This is the question which arises while considering index number while formulating the policies, right? So to answer this question, we have the concept of consistency of index number. Okay? This consistency of index number helps us to determine which index number is more accurate, which index number gives the more accurate predictions regarding anything. Okay? So that is where these tests are used. These are basically used to determine the accuracy or the consistency of index number that we have calculated by using the various approaches. Okay, so there are so many tests like time reversal test, factor reversal test, unit test, circular test, etc. Okay, so by using this different test, we can determine which index number is more accurate. So how these tests are used? See, these tests are used on various formulas, okay, and various formulas, and any formula which satisfies more of the test or the maximum number of tests, that formula is considered to be more accurate for computing index number. Okay. So when we talk about our syllabus, so we have these two tests in our syllabus. First one is time reversal test, and second one is factor reversal test. Okay. So when we talk about this two tests, so time reversal test is being satisfied by the Fisher's-Ideals index number and Marshall and Edgeworth method of computing index number. This test is not satisfied by the Lespier's method or Parshall's method. Okay. When we talk about the factors reversal index number, so this factor reversal test. So this factor reversal test is satisfied by the Fisher's-Ideal index number. Okay, and both these tests are given by the Irving Fisher. Okay, so Fisher's-Ideal index number satisfy both of this test. That is why the Fisher's index number, Fisher's method of computing index number is also called ideal index number. Why ideal? Because it satisfies most of the tests. Okay, that is why it is the ideal index number. It is the more accurate method of computing index number. So now we will see in detail what is the meaning of this test and how these tests are satisfied. By using Fisher's ideal index number. Okay. So what is basically the time reversal test? See, when we talk about the time reversal test, so here it is given by the Professor Irving Fisher. So what does he say over here? He says that index number, when we use the same methodology for computing index number by taking different periods as base. Okay, so the values that we get should be reciprocal for each other. Should be reciprocal of each other. Then only there is no time bias, time period taken or time period considered is going to be accurate. Okay, if the values are not reciprocal of each other, when we change the basis, when we change the base period, so the time, there is a bias about time. Time is not accurate component. Okay, so that is what the test concludes. Okay, so when we talk about the time reversal test, so it guides whether the method works both ways, that is forward and backward. Okay, the formula to compute the time reversal test should be such. This method believes that the formula to compute time reversal test should be such that it gives same ratio when the base periods are reversed. Okay, when the base periods are reversed means generally when we calculate T01. So what does it imply? It implies that 0 is the base period, okay, and 1 is the current period. 1 is the current period. So here what we are doing, we are calculating index number under P01. We are calculating index number for current year, okay, by taking base of base year, okay. So when we are going to reverse the base year, like when we are going to do like this T10, here what we are going to do, we are going to reverse the base. Now we will consider that 1 is a base year, okay, 1 is a base year and 0 is a current year. Now what we are doing, we are computing index number for the base year by taking the current year as base. Means here we were considering 0 as base year and 1 as current year, and here we are reversing the time period. Okay, so according to the time reversal test, when we are going to reverse this time period, so P01 into P10 should be equal to unity. Okay, when P01 multiplied by P10 is equals to unity, so we say that the time reversal test has been satisfied. In other words, here the test gets satisfied when the data for any 2 years, okay, data for any 2 years are treated by the same methodology, and the numbers should be reciprocals of each other, and the numbers that we get after processing the data are the reciprocals of each other, then this test, that is time reversal test, gets satisfied. Why it is being called time reversal test? It is being called time reversal test because here we are reversing the base period, and after reversing the base period, we are applying this test and we are seeing whether the P01 into P10 is equals to unity or not. If it is equals to unity, then we say that the formula is satisfying the time reversal test. And if the P01 into P10 is not equals to unity, so we say that the time reversal test is not being satisfied. So this way time reversal test has been used. Okay. So formula to satisfy time reversal test is this: P01 into P10 equals to 1. P01 into P10 equals to 1. Okay. Then next test that we are going to talk about is factor reversal test. So now what is the factor reversal test and who has given it? When we talk about the factor reversal test, so it is also being given by Irving Fisher, Professor Irving Fisher, and this test is also satisfied by Fisher's ideal index number method that we are going to see when we are going to solve numerical. Now what does this Fisher's ideal index number test says? It says that the product of the price index and quantity index for the particular period should be equal to its value index. Okay. Price index, product of price index and product of quantity index for the particular period should be equal to value index. Then only this test gets satisfied. Like this P01 refers to price index, Q01 refers to quantity index, and this P01 into Q01 should be equal to V01 0, 1. Okay, then only this test gets satisfied. So when we talk about the factor reversal test, so under factor reversal test, it's being said that if the product of price index and the quantity index for the particular period is equals to the value index for the same period, so it satisfied this factor reversal test. So the formula is satisfying this factor reversal test. Okay, so in other words, if we interpret this the meaning of this factor reversal test, so we get to know that this test is saying that if this test is saying that the change in the price multiplied by change in the quantity should be equals to total change in the value. Okay, so this way this factor reversal test gets satisfied by the Fisher-Zidel index number only. So here we have seen what is the time reversal test, what is the factor reversal test. Okay, and the formula by which it can be satisfied. Okay, so let's see how do we find out P01, P10, okay, and Q10. Okay, so let's see. So here, first of all, time reversal test. First of all, we are going to make P01. Okay, so we are going to find out this P01 by using Fisher-Zidel index number. So what is the formula for calculating price index number by Fisher-Zidel index number method? So it is P1 Q0 summation P1 Q0 upon summation P0 Q0 into summation P1 Q1 upon summation P0 Q1. So this is the formula for computing P01 under the Fisher-Zidel index number. Okay, and after that P10. How are we going to determine P10? So it's going to be the reciprocal of this formula, like summation P0 Q0 upon summation P1 Q0 into summation P0 Q1 upon summation P1 Q1. Okay, it's going to be the reciprocal of this, and it should be equals to 1. So when we are going to do P0 into P01 into P10, so it should be equal to 1. Okay, so when we are going to do this, so it will be like summation P1 Q0 upon summation P0 Q0 into summation P1 Q1 upon summation P0 Q1 into summation P0 Q0 upon summation P1 Q0 into summation P0 Q1 upon summation P1 Q1. Okay, it should be equals to 1. Okay, so this P1 Q0 and this P1 Q0 will get cancelled. This P1 Q1 and this P1 Q1 will also get cancelled. Summation P0 Q0 and this summation P0 Q0 will also get cancelled, and this P0 Q1 and this P0 Q1 will also get cancelled. So we are going to be remain with under root 1, and it's going to be equals to 1. So here this P0 into P01 into P10 is equals to 1. Okay, when we compute the index number, okay, and that index number satisfies this condition, that we say that the time reversal test is being satisfied, and that is why the formula to satisfy the time reversal test is equals to P01 into P10 is equals to 1. Okay, then we are going to talk about the factor reversal test. Okay, so what's the formula for factor reversal test? P01. So how do we compute P01 by using Fisher-Zidel index number? P01 is equals to summation P1 summation P1 Q0 upon summation P0 Q0 into summation equals to Q01. Okay, Q01. So here V01, Q01 would be equals to under root summation Q1 P0 upon summation Q0 P0. Okay, into summation Q1 P1 upon summation Q0 P1. So this way we have reversed the factors. Instead of price we have taken quantity, and instead of quantity we have taken price. Okay, in factor reversal test we are reversing the factors. Okay, while calculating quantity index number. So this is the formula for computing P01 and this is the formula for computing Q01. Now what is the formula for computing V01? Okay, V01. So it is P1. It is equals to P1Q1 upon P0Q0. So this P01 into Q01 should be equal to this P1Q1 upon P0Q0. Okay, when the conditions become such by using the index number, so we say that the formula is satisfying factor reversal test as well. So now we are going to better understand this formulas with the help of numerical examples. So till then, go through this lecture, try to understand the things, and in case of any doubt please contact me. Thank you so much.